Since the early 2000s, Shilpa Gupta's diverse and interdisciplinary practice has addressed questions of power, identity, and conflict. Born and raised in Bombay, her works have been impacted by the city's sectarian riots in 1993 that she lived through, as well as her visits to border regions between India, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. Her works often reflect on connections she formed with victims of continued insurgency and the lingering effects of the partition of the Indian subcontinent that she felt. Let's examine how she has critically explored issues concerning difference and marginalization through some of her works. As a part of her interactive work, Blame, Gupta posed as a salesperson, handing out packaged blame in the form of small bottles filled with simulated blood to commuters on local trains. The label of every bottle here contained text in English and Urdu, highlighting how people condemn each other on the basis of factors such as religion and nationality. These interactions also went a step further, inviting participants to separate the liquid based on such markers, as we see in the instruction here. This impossible task highlights the absurdity of some of the points of contention amongst communities and individuals. The project was especially topical as the artist developed it at a heightened moment of tension between India and Pakistan in 2002, which coincided with violence against Muslims in India and the war on terror, all of which stemmed from issues around identity. Let's now look at more ways in which Gupta has explored and questioned the underpinnings of conflict. While this object looks like an ordinary ball of thread, it's in fact an artwork through which Gupta represents the contentious border between India and Pakistan. The work is accompanied by a plaque that references data from the Ministry of Home Affairs, and its title suggests the ratio she has used to ascertain the length of her thread to represent the 1,188.5-mile border. While she transforms the dividing line into a seemingly unified orb, the fragility of the medium of thread reminds us of the fraught state of the border itself. The work, which appears as abstract as the data it represents, makes us reflect upon how political borders, no matter how contested, are ultimately a result of arbitrarily drawn lines. In works like 100 hand-drawn maps of my country, we see how Gupta has often challenged the fixed nature of such lines. Here, she reveals how most individuals, whose drawings of borders are overlaid on top of each other, remember the shapes of their nations differently. Gupta's multimedia sound installation, for In Your Tongue I Cannot Fit, gives voice to poets from the 8th century to the present who were historically silenced. Drawing its title from a poem by the 14th century Azerbaijani poet Sayyid Imamuddin Nasimi, who was executed by religious authorities because of his beliefs, the work makes references to poets from around the world who have written in English, Spanish, Arabic, Russian, Azeri, and Hindi, among other languages. It features 100 speakers and microphones suspended from the ceiling, corresponding with metal spikes that pierce pages inscribed with poetry. During a loop of more than an hour, these poems are recited, creating an immersive experience to reflect on the lasting challenge of freedom of speech. While often rooted in specific examples or experiences, the ideas Gupta explores through her works resonate with audiences worldwide. Through interactive experiences, public interventions, and highly conceptual works, Gupta explores how constricting structures that govern us might be questioned and dismantled.